It can be really painful watching a friend just make a huge mistake. No matter what you say, no matter how much you warn them, no matter how much they watch you go through things. And the lover girl delusion is the strongest delusion that a woman can be under. A lot of times you have to let them learn the hard way, and you just have to watch from the sidelines or don't. The choice is yours. It's like watching a train wreck. It's really painful. I have a friend that I've known for a very, very long time. I mean, since we were kids. We are grown now. We're both in our 30s. I've been married before. She hasn't. I have a child. She doesn't. She wants both of those two things. However, she wants to be married more than she wants a child. And she is the type of woman, which a lot of lover girls are this way. It's sickening to me, but she's the type of woman that she only wants the child if she's married and if the man is, treating her well, then she'll have a child for him, which I think is the worst thing that a woman can do because when the relationship ends, you're going to regret your children and you're going to resent motherhood. Anyways, yeah, I can go on a tangent about that, but we talked about that as well. And she's doubling down on that. She feels as though she said, God forbid something happened to my marriage that I would be a single mom, but I never want to be a single mom. Then don't have children because you will likely end up being a single mom. The marriage is not going to last forever. If you do have a fairy tale like that, which I'll get into the story in a moment, and you guys will hear that it's not a fairy tale at all. But even if you did, what if you outlive him? What if something happens to him? Anything can happen where you can end up being a single mom. All right, y'all, here's the story. Just grab some wine, okay? Just grab a glass of wine. Okay, so she has been a mistress to a married man for the last 3 years. I've known since the beginning. They met when she was on a resort in the Caribbean. On a resort, just kind of like as a tag along with one of her friends and their family. And so she was just kind of wandering the resort by herself. And this man, very in shape, fit, fine man in his younger 30s, basically stalked her and was not taking no for an answer. And they just kept running into each other, I think on purpose. But he wanted to make sure that he got a chance to talk to her before he left. He was there on a bachelor trip. And so one of his friends was getting married. And so they ended up hooking up at the resort. If it wasn't day one of running into each other, it was day two. But he was only there for a couple more days and then he left. So after that, she's thinking it's just going to be a nice little Caribbean fling. They live in two separate states. Well, to her surprise, they kept in contact and fell in love. They fell in love. They fell in love, started talking a lot, long distance. He was very, very serious about pursuing her. I mean, very serious. He was saying all the right things, doing all the right things as well, spending money, taking care of her, making sure she's good, giving her love and attention. I mean, really, really all the things. A few months go by. She ends up coming across a Facebook post. I forget exactly how it happened. We were on FaceTime and she showed me it, but I can't remember. This was towards the beginning of their affair. And so long story short, she ended up finding some information about the fact that he's married. And she found it online. She didn't know that he was married. She said she didn't know. She found out that he was married and he had been married for a decade. So she confronted him and he was willing to let her go. He didn't even want to argue about it. He didn't want to argue about it. He didn't want to like over explain himself. He just was like, all right, well, I guess this is where it ends. And I remember thinking at that time, ooh, that's not good. Because he already knows, from a man's perspective, he already knows, oh, this is irreconcilable. She has found out my secret. This is where the road ends. Now I need to go get somebody else that doesn't know my secret. He did not try to fight for it at all. And to me, forget the fact that he was married. Okay. A lot of men are married. Forget that. The fact that he didn't even fight for it was a big red flag for me. He let her go. That broke her heart. She did not want to be let go. She felt like she loved this man. And so she sat on it for a couple days and she ended up going to him and saying, hey, I'm sure we can work through this. Do you plan on getting a divorce? And all. Yes, y'all. I said grab some wine. I said grab some wine. I warned you. So she went to him, and he was, of course, ecstatic because he didn't think he was ever going to speak to her again. She went to him saying they could work through it, blah, blah, blah. And he, of course, lied and said, yeah, I'm getting a divorce. I want to get a divorce. I'm not in love anymore. But it's hard because she just had a child. She just had our second child not too long ago. And she told him that the child was a year old already at the time. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. The next 2 years, they continued to be in a long distance relationship. I mean, she's posting him on her Insta stories, of course, not tagging him or anything. They are taking so many trips together. Every month they take a trip together. He says that he's traveling for work. He works for a really good company that's kind of worldwide. And so he travels a lot for work anyways. And she would tag along on these work trips. She worked remote, so she could work anywhere. He also was financially there for her, so she was able to quit a couple of her jobs because she was like working like 3 jobs before she got with him. And then now, being his mistress, she was able to drop 2 jobs and only have one, so that she could be more flexible and travel with him and kind of be wherever he needed her to be. Being a mistress pays, y'all. It does. I did not blame her for wanting to be this man's mistress because I would have done the same thing. Okay? I'm just going to keep it a buck, all right? I would have done the same thing. But that's where you leave it. That you want to stay in that mistress category. You don't want to try to get him to leave his wife so that you can be the new wife and you can move in together. You don't fall in love and run to him and run back to him and all that. No, you stay a mistress that's getting taken care of and having fun experiences with no commitment. That is the pocket of being a mistress you want to stay in. But she's a lover girl. And she's always been like this. Like I said, I've known her for a very long time. She's always been a lover girl. So her emotions were heavily, heavily, heavily involved since the beginning. And to her, this ends with them getting a divorce, her becoming the new wife, them starting a new family, and moving into a new house together. That is the end goal. That is the picture that she painted from very early on. So, like I said, a couple years go by. She's playing the role. He's doing his part. He's taking real good care of her. She is being a great girlfriend to him. We caught up the other day, me and my friend, and apparently over the holidays, things hit the fan. Finally, after over 2 years, things hit the fan, and the wife overheard the man tell my friend that he loves her. And I guess that was too much for the wife. And so she just kind of went off. She went off and, big theatrical thing in the middle of the night, kicked him out, says she's going to file for divorce, didn't file for divorce. He ends up going to file to try to beat her to it so that she can't file under adultery because the state that they live in apparently is a split down the middle state anyways. So regardless of the reason for getting divorced and regardless of who files, everything is split 50-50. And that's what he was saying was the reason why he was prolonging the divorce anyways. So he says, is because he didn't want to split half of his assets. So, I mean, what were you planning on doing? That is going to be the case regardless. But anyways, that's the type of state that they live in. But apparently, if she's able to prove adultery, then she will get even more than 50%. So he made sure that he went to the courthouse before her to file so that she couldn't file for adultery, but she's trying to get it now to a point where she can prove the adultery and then like counterfile or something. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but that's what she told me. And so now they have to be super secretive because if she can prove the adultery in cold hard proof, then she's going to get even more. And it's apparently a huge mess. What did I just say? I just said that this man got caught. He had to get caught saying I love you to her and threatened money wise in order for him to get a divorce. Him, quote, being in love with her and wanting to be with her and wanting to start a family with her and seeing a future with her, all the sweet nothings he was telling her was not ever going to get him to get a divorce. Being threatened financially and being caught by the wife is what pushed him to get a divorce. And he's just trying to beat the system so that he can save a little bit of money. That's it. But in my friend's mind, she won and is currently winning. Oh, he's getting the divorce for me. He didn't do that for you. He literally did not do that for you. But she does not see it that way at all. So also what she doesn't see is, wait, I thought they weren't really together and they're not sleeping together anymore and blah 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 blah, which is some other lies that he was telling her. So why would she be so upset and why would she immediately kick him out if they weren't, still together? She's not seeing that part as well. But another thing, y'all, is he told her that the youngest child was a year old when they met. He lied. It came out in the randomness and chaotic nature of the blow up. He slipped up and mentioned the youngest child's real age, which turns out when my friend met this man at the resort, that youngest child was approximately 1 or 2 months old. She was probably still in her first 6 weeks of postpartum. But he told her that the child was a year old, probably to seem like less of an a-hole. Most likely to seem like less of an a-hole. Like you're cheating on your wife who has a newborn. And when she told me that, I said, okay, hold on. Because she tried to like brush past it. And I stopped her and I said, hey, don't brush past that. And she's like, yeah, but we're over it now. I said, okay, don't forget that. Whatever you do going forward, always remember that he held up that lie for over 2 years just to protect his image in your eyes. That's a big deal. She didn't want to hear it. She didn't want to hear it. So, y'all, it's a mess. And so now she is fully planning to move with him. He claims the divorce should be final, if everything goes smooth. In a few months, she's going to move states and move with him. He is, quote, going to propose to her immediately after the divorce is over, and they're going to get married and have children. And she's so excited about it. Not only is she excited about it, but the part that really is kind of rubbing me the wrong way is she showed me pictures of the wife. We didn't know what she looked like before. She found pictures of the wife from doing some digging, some recent pictures, and the wife is overweight. My friend made fun of this woman and said this is why he's divorcing her. There's no reason why she should be looking like this. How can you go around looking like this? Saying all of those things. There's no excuse. The child is 3 years old now. There's no reason for her to look like this. Mind you, I just had a child. And she has 2 children. The wife has 2 children. I know how hard it is or how hard it can be to go to the gym when you have one child. And I don't even work. I don't even have a job. Okay. This woman has a full-time job. Yeah, it's going to take her a little longer to drop the weight. I just felt like that was very insensitive and mean-spirited. But she's feeling herself because she feels like she won. She feels like she won this man. This man is the prize. Aha, nanny nanny boo boo. That was the kind of energy. And until she starts seeing some things clearly and gets out of this delusion, I'm going to have to distance myself from her because it's getting to be too much for me to listen to the stupidity with a straight face. I don't know how much longer I can do that. She took herself out of a prime position of being a single, child free woman who is being completely tricked on by a man that doesn't even live in your state and is flying you out every month and paying your bills. You get your alone time, you get money, you get him, you miss each other, which is good. You get your freedom. She's not the type that would ever date somebody outside of seeing him, but she could if she wanted to. You literally took yourself out of a position of having your cake and eating it too, to voluntarily put yourself in the position that his current wife is in. Why would you do that? Women believe that they are the exception. You're not. You're not. Because when she has children for him, which is so stupid, when she has children for him and believes that this is going to be it and they love each other so much, and she said the child's going to be born out of love. Okay. And when she gains some weight and when he becomes unattracted to her and starts pulling away, when he randomly goes on a trip, when she's 6 weeks postpartum and can't have sex with him, her anxiety is going to be through the roof, taking care of a newborn baby by herself, knowing that her new husband is cheating on her. She's going to have to take care of that child by herself, just like his current wife does, take care of the children by himself while he's out on a world tour cheating. And she, for whatever reason, thinks that when she gets in the position of being his wife, he's going to stop cheating. Not, is the wine done yet? Because at this point, I need some wine. Me talking about this is making me mad again. But also, too, they now, they as in my friend and this man, her getting with him and creating a blended family with him, she's going to have to deal with that scorned ex-wife for the rest of her life. And the worst part about all this is that this was a choice. This was completely unavoidable. But I'm telling y'all, the lover girl delusion is the strongest spell a woman can be under. And when it gets to be this bad, if you have any friends like this in your life, leave some comments down below because I'd love to hear some other stories. Because to me, this is just, I'm stressed out thinking about it. There comes a point where you have to let the lover girls learn the hard way.